and welcome to another episode of the program Improve Seed, or your first agricultural television in the city of Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Hilda Homsem Fuantuam, and today we have another interesting and very educative topic to discuss with my guest, Daniela Ayang. Daniela Ayang is a corporate serving with livestock department of ARCN. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm very fine, ma'am.
Looking good.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
My pleasure too. Alright, we go on a short break. When we come back, I'll tell you the topic we are going to talk about. Go nowhere. We're going to discuss SDG 2, Zero Hunger. So Daniela, what is SDG 2?
Okay, SDG 2, like you said, Zero Hunger, is a call of action by the United Nations to end and eradicate all forms of hunger, malnutrition, most especially in women, children, and to reduce the number of stunted growth. In the world at large, you know that there's a higher increase in food crisis, not just here in Nigeria, but everywhere in the world. So the United Nations came together, and then, they said for goal 2, it should be zero hunger. So we would try to see how to take actions to eradicate these challenges that has to do with hunger.
And in Nigeria, what are the challenges? Are we able to achieve that, or what is there that is affecting us, or what are the challenges that is affecting us from achieving this goal?
Okay, we have enormous challenges when it comes to, already Nigeria is an underdeveloping country, and so we have a lot of challenges when it has to do with zero hunger. So for part of our some of the challenges that we are facing is we have the crisis, climate change. The unique thing about climate change is that we are not part of the people that are contributing to the effect of climate change.
Okay.
But that does not exempt us from being affected by the negative impacts. So climate change has caused drought, flooding, overheating, and all of this has affected our food systems. Then another other challenge that we have is the issue of poverty. If people are poor, they cannot afford food, and thereabout, if you can't buy food, you're hungry, it will affect the nutritional level and a whole lot of that. Then we also have the issue of food insecurity. Issue of food insecurity, we talk about insecurity, general insecurity in the nation. We have crises, up and down conflict, which is affecting our food system. So all of these are just part of the challenges that we are facing. Inequality, a whole lot, is part of the things that is affecting or stopping us from achieving SDG 2 here in Nigeria.
Oh, that is quite sad,
Yeah.
what have the government done, to see that? I know they might not be able to cover everything, but what are some of the things that have been put in place by the government to see that we eradicate some of these challenges?
Okay, there are so many things. If the government were not doing anything, then I wouldn't even be aware of SDG 2
Sure.
in the first place. So the government, they are coming up with programs, trying to educate people on food loss. I also forgot to mention when we talk about the challenges on food waste. For a nation that is not producing much, we are wasting a lot of food actually. So the government is trying to come up with programs, trying to partner with the private sector internationally, attending conferences, so many extension services, So I think Obasanjo, the former president, they came up with this food crisis, food intervention strategy by IITA, and then they try to come together and just giving talk, providing solutions, researches, and trying to educate the rural farmers, try to bring up policies that would favor the market. So government is really doing a whole lot to make sure that zero hunger is achievable here in Nigeria.
Yeah, I think with the World Food Day, I know the permanent secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, there was some activities that they had this year, and they talked a lot about how to eradicate that. That's very good. Now, talking about the youths, what roles have the youth, like you, like I, like some of the youths outside, what efforts have they put also, to see that they achieve and play their own roles in eradicating food in Nigeria?
Yes, the youth are coming up. The youth are taking several measures to achieving zero hunger here in Nigeria. We're talking about more community engagement. We have a lot of youth who are providing solutions, coming up with initiatives. We have the use of drones, use of technologies. We have youth who are using drones now for the irrigation system. We also have the hydroponics, several hydroponics, to ensure that we do not just depend on rainy season alone to produce our food, to make sure that our food is not based on seasons. So the youth are coming up with several strategies. The youth are going down even to the community level to teach community members, against waste, to teach community members on sustainable agriculture, to teach community members on several new technologies that have come up. The youth are doing a whole lot. They are doing a whole lot.
I know there was an event organized by you and some of your colleagues, how to manage waste and stuff like that. So tell us a little about that. Maybe for some of us that did not, participate or watch the other episode, you can enlighten us on that. It's also an effort to eradicate hunger, and it was also a role that you played in eradicating hunger in Nigeria.
Okay, so we came up with it's called an initiative. It's an initiative. It's also a part of Climate Smart Farming, and I Cycle to Farm initiative, where we teach community members, I and some other youth, we go down and we teach community members on how to plant crops, food crops, and basically vegetable crops, using waste materials like sack bags, using materials like buckets and all of that. So we just sensitize them on the entire climate change, the effects of climate change, and how they can undo waste, how they can prevent food waste, how they can use food waste to, engineer their food crops. And then we also try to tell them that you don't need to have a big farmland. We're talking about zero hunger here. We're trying to tell them that you don't need to have a big farmland before you grow your own food. You could start from your backyard if you have a small space, and then you don't need land. It doesn't matter if your compound is interlocked or not. You could use sacks and you could use buckets. And then we try to also tell them the economic benefits of doing these things, which is that you eat healthy, you eat healthy food crops, and then you get to save your own money. We're talking about zero hunger here, and then we mentioned poverty as part of the challenges. So if you're able to grow your food, you're able to eat well, you're able to eat healthy, and it doesn't depend on if you're poor. You're already growing these things, so you can easily intervene.
And since then, we're able to monitor some of them. Have you gotten reports about their involvement and participation, and how well are they doing it now?
Yes, I have, and then I've also gotten, several other organizations and several other youths reach out to me that, we want to partner. I've gone for three other outreaches aside from that last one. I've been able to spread the word. What started just little, I've been able to spread the word, and then most of the community members have also produced their own food crops. There was one that is not, their house is not just too far away from my place. Their ugu, their pumpkin seeds sprouted up, and then she came to meet me that Copper, the thing don't grow, so she was so excited. So I've been able to monitor and also advise them and evaluate the impacts of the project, and so far the project is doing so well, and we are reaching out to more communities as well.
That's good. This is Still Improve Seeds on your first agricultural television in Nigeria. We're going on a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the involvement of women in eradicating poverty. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. This is Still Improve Seeds on your first agricultural television. Daniela here has spoken a lot about eradication of hunger, making sure that we have enough food on our table. We must not necessarily farm and have big farms. Our backyard farm, our houses, can have to just make something small, and instead of going out, instead of you depending on the government who are already making efforts to see that they eradicate hunger in the country. So we're talking about now the involvement of women. How have the women contributed in this fight?
Well, for women are the major producers of food in Africa, not just here in Nigeria. Rural women were the ones that are holding down the agricultural system down. They're the major producers. So women have been contributing right from time to ensuring that there is enough abundance of food. It's just that now with the entire challenges and the issues of climate change that like I had said, they don't know what is going on. The women do not know what is going on. They just know that, okay, the rain is not falling the way it used to fall, and then they notice that where they used to have water, there's no longer water. And why is there over flooding here in this area? Why are grasses not growing for our distance? Why is there overeating even as well for the livestock production centers? So women do not understand, because from my outreach, from the community projects that I've gone on, I realized that they are aware of these challenges and they are aware of their roles and these things that are happening to them, but they do not know why it is happening. So women just do not know how to address these challenges. They're not properly informed. They're not. They've not been enlightened. They've not been properly being reached out to. Like personally for me, I'm more interested in the community engagement side than the policy making aspects, because policies, you just go to big offices, meet with stakeholders. I'm not saying that it's bad, but you meet with stakeholders and then you talk to them about solutions, trying to find zero hunger. But how can you be talking with stakeholders and meeting with governments and international, stakeholders, people trying to find solutions, when you have not, reach out to the main people that are being affected? We have the climate smart farming that is coming up. These are new technologies, new techniques. We talk of precision farming, which is the use of machines and technologies to alleviate some of these challenges that we have now. But women do not know these new technologies that are coming up. They are not aware of the researches. So if we keep going to meet stakeholders and keep creating solutions without taking these solutions down to the main people who are the producers, who are holding down the food system, then we're not doing anything. We're just running around in circles, because we'll keep having the challenges of food insecurity in Nigeria. But so far, women are doing wonderful. Women are playing a huge role. They're the ones who are producing food in Nigeria. They're the major farmers. You go to a community and you're trying to reach out to community members, trying to talk to them about climate smart farming. I don't restrict. I don't say only women. I don't say only children. I'm saying the whole community members. And then you see that majority of them that come out are women. They're the ones who are mostly interested. And then you try to, even when you're fixing the time for the projects or the events with the community heads, they try to tell you, oh, don't put the time between this period and this period, because our women will be going to the farms. So that just goes a long way to show how much women, like the women are the majority. Just shows that, oh, women are the ones who are holding down the food aspects in Nigeria.
That's very good. And that's why the challenges they're also facing and all that, but they're making sure that we have the food. Thank you, women. So now, what are some of the achievements of the SDG goal 2?
For some of the achievements, many people will argue that SDG 2 or SDG in general is not going to be achievable, because the target is for 2030, and then we have just barely 7 years left to accomplish this goal. And then a lot to feel like, oh, we're not doing anything, we're not making progress. But I think that we are making progress. Slow progress is still progress. I mean, we have we have more awareness now. We have more awareness. We have governments trying to meet with private sectors, coming up with solutions. We have youths coming up with their own little intervention strategies and solutions. We also have the women who are more tenacious, irrespective of the challenges that they face. They still show up in the farms. They still try to find local solutions. They still try to find local means of making sure that their food crops thrive. So I think that there've been several progress so far. Even in my undergraduate, during my undergraduate studies, they introduced the SDG 2 to us as agricultural students, and they try to make us find solutions. So I think all of these are little progress, little steps that we are putting in place, and I've seen a lot of changes so far.
So ranging between 0 to 10, what would you say?
Oh, you're putting me in a tight spot. Okay, I would say 6. I'll give Nigeria a 6.
6 is a pass mark, you know that, right?
Yes.
That is good.
6 is fair enough.
All right. So from the challenges now, from your own perspective, from your own angle, what do you think we should put what do you think we should concentrate now on, particularly because we've spoken about a lot of challenges and a lot of things we can do? What can you particularly now pick out as, okay, let's concentrate on this particular project, you know, to eradicate this hunger?
To eradicate hunger, I would say that the government should focus on peace, because insecurity is costing us a lot. Insecurity is costing us a lot. You see the issue of cattle everywhere, conflict and all of that. So I think the government should ensure that there's peace. Peace would also give us, like for me, if I'm a farmer, I'll be able to explore on other areas, on other, you know, region of the country, trying to expand my farm, trying to collaborate. I won't be afraid to collaborate with my solution. So I think we should focus on peace. Then I also think that we should also focus on mechanized farming, you know, new technologies, trying to come up with different technologies for our irrigation system, technologies to reduce our greenhouse effects. So also technologies for storage. The issue of storage problem is a big problem also in Nigeria. So I think we should focus on peace. I think we should focus on mechanized farming. I also think that we should there should be more creation job awareness, you know, creation of jobs and other areas, strategies areas, to ensure that there's an economic growth, because poverty is another area that is affecting us. So there should be more jobs and there should be more avenues, either entrepreneurial or in another means, so that people will be able to afford food for themselves.
What about if you talk about flooding? Don't you think it's also a problem? You know, I feel that when we advocate for awareness, if we create that advocacy for flooding, you know, eradicate, apart from the piece you talked about, if we are being told of what to do the right time, because you know, of all this, if the climate does not, you know, go in accordance to the crops or whatever we're going to plan, it's going to also affect us. So I also think I'm going to join you to add, you know, the awareness of climate change and
climate
like
smart farming adoption strategies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the poverty itself. Fertilizers now are so expensive and so costly. If farmers can go back to inorganic method of farming, I think it's going to do a long way. That is good. So what are your words for the farmers, for everyone in Nigeria? How do you think we can get to that?
Majorly for everyone, we should all get involved. So I'm rooting that everybody should get involved. We should not just wait for the government. You know, we do this thing in Nigeria where we just blame the government for everything. But I feel like we should all get involved. We should produce our own food. We should reduce waste. Do not take more than you can eat. And then we should also try to look for little ways, you know, sustainable agriculture. We have sustainable agriculture, planting while considering your environment and making sure that using strategies that would improve your farm, using strategies that would not restrict you from planting tomorrow. So those are the little things, those are the little advice that I can give. And then if you're a youth, you're an agricultural youth, the time to take action is now.
You heard it. The time to take action is now. Let's all put our heads together. Let's eradicate hunger. Let's put food on our table. You know, with food we live long.
Yeah.
We do everything basically because of our stomach. That is what somebody said. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for being. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for always wanting to be here. I know sharing your own experience with us. It's great having you, having a young adult, having the heart of farming, and you know, giving us your knowledge and everything. Thank you so much for sharing that. This is how we wrapped up on this episode of the program Improve Seed. Hope you've learned and you've taken cognizance of some of the important things we need to do to eradicate hunger, to eradicate poverty, to eradicate malnutrition, to eradicate a lot of things that the SDG 2 is trying to, you know, get away with. 2030 is just by the corner. Don't think it's a long time, and when we put our heads together with the efforts of the government, we are going to reach there. I remain Hilda Homself Quantum saying keep watching more of our programs until we come again next time. Thank you so much, Daniela.
Thank you so much.
And take good care of yourself. Eat good food and stay out of trouble.